Hey everyone, how you doing? Kevin Raylick here, and I'm really excited to talk to you about our new deck of cards here at Penguin Magic. And here they are. Now I know what you're probably thinking at first glance. They're bikes. What's the big deal? And in a way you're right. These are the standard classic rider back design. These are Bicycle Elite Edition, and they're a really special deck of cards despite their commonplace appearance. So we're going to talk about all the features, and we're going to start from the outside moving in. And the very first thing I want to talk about is the cellophane. Now, we've never talked about the cellophane on one of our decks of cards before, but this is actually really exciting because I know this is something probably a lot of you have wanted. If you watch this, that's right, we have working tear strips. This lets you keep the cellophane intact on your deck a lot better, makes your deck and your tuck box last longer. So that's feature one. Working tear strips are back in Bicycle Elite Edition. Next is the tuck design itself. You'll notice this is the classic style box. There's a newer box that came out a few years ago that has text and that sort of thing on the back. As magicians, you know that having the back design on your box is a lot more useful. So we've gone with the totally classic box. So that's the outside. Let's take a look at the inside. Inside you're going to find two identical jokers, so both full-size colored jokers. These are the new kind of standard in regular decks, so this is going to match what you and your audiences are familiar with. We're not a big fan of ad cards here, so we always throw in some cards that are really useful. So we have a blank facer, and we have a double backer. You guys know what to do with that a lot. Endless routines that can be done with those gaffs. And then the deck itself. So we've got the classic rider back, the one you know, you love. It's been in use since 1887. Bicycle brand since 1885, but rider backs not since 1887, if memory serves. And then we have the classic Ace of Spades as well. And everything else is what you would expect. Standard new deck order, standard faces, standard courts. So then, Kevin, you ask, why the heck am I watching you do this video? What's so special about this deck other than the box and the cellophane and that there's gaffs instead of ad cards? Well, the key feature here on these is the stock and the finish. So if you guys have ever handled our Blue Choice decks, it was a deck that we did in conjunction with Choice Playing Cards, Ben Colosi, and they were fantastic. We printed those on a new thin crush stock, and we absolutely loved the feel of them. They felt incredible, they handled great, and as we were using them in the team, we said, we need to make this feel in bikes. Because as many of you love custom decks, and I certainly do, there's no getting around the fact that this is the brand. This is the design that we all know and love. This is what we use. And so we said, why not have that ultimate feeling in the classic design that we all love? This has the most gaff availability of any brand. And so there's just, there's no denying that Bicycle was a way to go. And there have been other kind of improved bicycle decks on the market before. We're not going to ignore that. There have been several. There have been at least 3 or 4 other standard riderback looking decks. The difference there is that those were all printed on B stock, which is a much thicker, heavier stock, and this is a thin crush stock. And it's really agile, it's very smooth, and the biggest thing I've been hearing, we sent some decks to some professionals to get their early feedback, and the early comments are great, they're loving them, and the most persistent thing that's coming back to me is that guys are commenting that the cards feel like they're already broken in, fresh out of the box. So that's great to hear, and as you know, whenever you open a new deck, you sometimes have to kind of work with it a little bit and, do a lot of springs and pharaohs and different other shuffles and stuff to get the cards feeling the way you want. Because we have this nice, thin, flexible stock, you're able to open the deck straight away and get really great springs with much less effort than standard stock. Terrific pharaohs. We have nice, smooth edges. These are traditionally cut, which means that they're cut through the faces. So if you do table pharaohs or table work, these cards are great for that. And you're just going to notice a great handling from them. This is the top of the line magic finish. I can't say enough good things about these cards. If you kind of do an A and B test and hold a deck of Elite Edition bikes in one hand and standard drugstore bikes in the other, you will definitely feel a difference in the thickness just holding them in your hands. And then once you actually start using them, it becomes that much more apparent. Because of the thinner stock, it can make your multiple lifts that much more deceptive. I really can't go on too much about the benefits of this thin stock. And if you've handled the blue choice cards, you know how great they feel. So if you want that feeling in a deck of bikes, we have now finally got you covered. So that really is the overall gist of it. They do last a very long time. I know sometimes people hear thinner cards and they equate that with cheaper cards in terms of inferior quality. That's not the case here at all. These hold up. They're really long lasting. I'm going to switch decks here. So this is the deck that I just opened on camera. So this is the deck that I've been using for the last few weeks. This was the first sample deck that I opened. And as you can see, still fanning great. Still shuffles great. I've been having this not in a clip, not in a card press, just in its box for weeks here in the Carolina heat and humidity. And they're still holding up wonderfully well after about 3 weeks of use. So I really think you guys are gonna love these decks. We've made them super affordable so that you guys can work with them. We know that working pros go through cards, you know, it's not something where you, with your collector decks, maybe you use them once in a while at home as a practice deck. When you're out there in the trenches working day in and day out, you go through cards. It's just a fact of life. So we've priced them with that in mind. I hope you guys really like them. Thanks for sticking with me through this video. You can buy them right here on the page. I can't wait for you guys to get them in your hands and to hear from you. Definitely post, share with us your photos and your thoughts on social media. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram, Penguin Cards. Use hashtag Penguin Playing Cards if you post any photos of any of our decks, whether it's the Elite Bicycle or any of our other decks. So thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.